You
It
know,
is what it is.
no, you said something, you said a lot that was very, very important. And I want to talk about the trans community just for 1 second. Um,
You can talk about the trans community for 10 seconds, but there's 20 seconds. There's not enough time
yeah,
that will talk about the trans community or population. So you can take your time on this segment.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So Laverne Cox did a podcast special where she talked about uh, the release that Pornhub put out, and it was showing the states where trans porn was most researched. This
Okay, I bet it's the South.
they were all red states. They were all red states.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing is I commented under that. Yes, because get this, Black people go hand in hand too. We're so sexualized. And it's not just sexualized. The powers that be want to keep us in a position where they can use us
Oh yeah.
that can call. If they lose that edge over us, we can
That's
go
it.
do whatever and whatever what we want to do, and they want to stop that because there's easy access to us down here. It's basically saying stay where we
That's right.
put you. But it was so crazy because I commented under Laverne's post, and I shared a true story. I said, at one point in my life, I worked as a female phone sex agent on a 900 line, and because of my voice. And what happened was I had this man call me, and what we have to understand is this was 19 years ago. This was 21 years ago, going on 22 years ago. So let's look at it now. Let's look at how trans has become. The trans community is becoming more and more visible because they're fighting back. So let's look at it, and that's happening now. This is 2024. So let's look at that. So we're talking way, 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 way back. So we're
Yeah.
talking 21 years ago. 21 years ago, TVTS, those were the calls. Like when you heard it on the phone, you knew what character to play because you got the abbreviation. TVTS is transvestite, transsexual. That's the call that they want. So TVTS. Now, this is a Jewish company that I worked for too, mind you. Yeah, exactly. I said it all. Um, That was the most requested call 21 years ago in the call center. Now, what you have to understand about this call center is it still exists.
Uh-huh.
So that's number
Uh-huh.
one. That's number one. Then we never closed. We were open 24/7. All holidays, we had shifts. So
They
I
got
said,
a hell of an operation, huh?
yes, yes, yes. And get it, they paid us well. Oh,
Mm.
I lived in the center of my city. They paid us well.
Mm.
But it also, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, I'm a singer, I'm a this, I'm a that, like I do so much. I'm an entertainer, but I cut my chops there
Mm.
first. And it boosted my confidence that I could come out to the world like this and be received. Because before that, I didn't know any transvestites. I saw that stuff on Real Sex 20 on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of place where I got my education from on
Mm.
trans people and transvestites. So turn around, and this one gentleman, he called, and I needed, now mind you, it was $4.99 a minute. We had to keep them on the phone for 35 minutes. And I usually did that. But with the TVTS call, I didn't mean to rush it, but and get it. You have people in your ear. So you have the caller and then you have your managers in your ear. You can hear each other. So yeah, it was a real operation. They tell you
Mm-hmm.
what to do. Like they'll listen to you, but if you listen, if they feel like you're losing him, you will hear them in your ear say libido check, like literally. And then you will go into your techniques of how to libido check a man on the phone. I'm telling you, I am not to be played with. I was very good at my job, but I brought it out here. Like I brought it out here now. I use these techniques in all of my work, but this is the reason. I jumped the gun with him and he climaxed too quickly. So
Okay.
I figured, because we usually hear caller hung up. This man, Caucasian, proceeded. There were 20 minutes, like 15 or 20 minutes left to the 35-minute call. Because I was tired. I was tired. I jumped the gun. So turn around. And for the rest of the call, he proceeded to degrade me and tell me I needed Jesus, that I was a scourge on this earth, that I was going to burn and die and go to hell, that I was wrong, that I was wrong. And I listened to him because I'm looking at the clock. I'm looking
That's
at,
right.
I need this,
That's right.
I need this call. So
That's right.
I let him degrade me. And then when we got down to like the last 5 minutes, I
He
said,
didn't degrade you. He degraded what he thought was you.
and get it. Exactly. Okay, you know where I'm going with this. So then I politely said to him, I said, sir, he said, what is it? You need Jesus? I can pray for you. I said, with all due respect, I'm not the one that just got off to a transsexual fantasy.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that was you.
That's right.
And when I said that, I finally heard caller hung up.
I bet you.
But get this, Jay, that gave me so much confidence because I realized that was the first time I realized that people's hate is not actually their hate.
Mm-hmm.
They admire you. And it's that if I can't beat you, if I got to join you, but you don't want them to join you, you got to keep your eyes open. But I realized that the world was looking for this.
Mm-hmm.
Never closed. This is what y'all call for every day. I was like, oh, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. And that's when my career shifted. That's when my whole career shifted because I realized, honey, these people want you. I don't care how many times they tell you no. Their no's mean yeses.
And you know, I think the greatest thing that is so the thing that is so funny about that is that I don't know. Oh Lord, let me get these thoughts together. My ADHD tapping in because my mind went all over. Um, it's those folk who participate in backdoor abortions for their mistress who are drafting policies of anti-abortion. It is those people who then get outed because they were dressed up or cross-dressing and they killed themselves because it was outed. The same folk caught with these trans women.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's an issue now because you're outed. If all of y'all really like this, all right. I'm just trying to gain some understanding. Okay. Because if all of y'all is really like this or really like this in private, and y'all all honestly convene in the same areas in private,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what's the issue with publicizing that thing? Why? Because you are a quote unquote Christian nationalist. I'm really trying to gain understanding because as you were talking, the only thing that I heard was the individual being confused, so confused with themselves. You know, and this is not the first time where I've heard stories of everything being hunky dory in the beginning, yet it's ultimately like a switch done flipped, okay, where folks' lives are now at jeopardy, okay. This is some disturbing stuff that we're dealing with, and we have so much more than fetishizations and things because honestly, it's a power superiority thing. When we go back to the history of time, I'm not this complexion just to be this complexion. Okay, we have to talk about the realities of what happened. And when folks are even playing around with the word sexual assault and all of that, our ancestors were raped
Yeah.
on a constant. And you can't tell me that there was no type of genuine attraction there. You're just confused as to why it exists for you. Identify as omnisexual,
Right.
which is basically the cousin to pansexual. This I'm trying to get this light together. That ain't cute.
It looks great.
But I identify as omnisexual, which is basically the cousin of pansexual. Omnisexuals just being considerate of gender identity. It does matter, right? Though we can be attracted to multiple genders, gender identity is a part of what guides our attraction, if you
Right.
will. But going outside of that, I believe I was talking about calling folks out. Was that
Yes.
the next thing?
Yes.
Calling folks out. Yeah, I did say that. I believe in calling folks out because you have a lot of people who are participants in a lot of the same things that they're demonizing,
Hmm.
and that they are weaponizing, and trying to use against people. And I knew before we got stopped, I was talking about, the cross dresser. There was a cross dressing mayor who killed himself due
Oh,
to these things being publicized, a white guy. But 9 times out of 10 is white Republican people who are drafting pieces of legislation who are participating in these same things. That's asinine and it's honestly is immoral. And if you ask me, the stuff is criminal because a lot of things that y'all have drafted policies against are a lot of times those things and what you participate in yourself.
you know
And
what's so
so
crazy? Yeah,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Okay, no, because what I was gonna say is that's what I was telling under Laverne Cox. Get it? They're mad at the Laverne Coxes. They're mad at the T.S. Madisons. They're mad at the Hope Giselles. They're mad at the Sydney Stars. They're mad at the Shauna Brooks. And there's so many more. Jamie Parrish. Like they're mad at these women because these women are not at the beck and call of these politicians and private citizens to make a living. They're mad at the Jaguar Evermores. Like that. That's why I asked you about that because that matters. Like they're angry because if all of these people, transsexuals and transgender individuals and transvestites can legitimize themselves and like we
Mm-hmm.
talked about earlier, know themselves, know their worth, then we no longer have to wait for their dollar.